Hey guys, it's Quartet the Deck Profile. This is my machining Stride Legion, mainly because this is in my opinion, a pretty decent build. Not the best machining build, but it does swing for numbers, and that's what I want. I did go first place tonight in my locals with this build. I did make some tweaks to it because I did see the minor details that I would use a card's effect, but that's all I use it for instead of using it to swing, and that was Papilio, the grade 2. I'll just, go ahead and trade the rest. Oh, and my starter, I did use Battler C, which is if it boosts and it hits, kind of blast one, put it into a certain stunning unit. Mainly because it wasn't a machining is why I was having trouble using that card. Not because of its effect, but when I needed to use the Stride units effect, I needed to throw down an extra card just because of this starter. So machining Little B would be your best starter, mainly because of its name, not because of its effect. It goes into Soul, gives something, it stands something on your field and gives it +3. So if you call something out with Stag Beetle or Machining War Sickle, then its effect is actually viable. But other than that, it's just a machining. It's something that you pretty much need. And I would not run, again, Battler C, even though its effect should be Little B's effect, but it is what it is. I'll start with my triggers and go up. Ooh. I've got a flash on now. Okay. We have 4 Raider Mantis, the draw trigger, 4 Shelter Beetle, crit trigger, another crit trigger Machining Scorpion to keep up with the crits. I'm glad we're getting another crit, and that it is Machining Firefly, and that it also stuns. So, and 4 Machining Bombix, the heal trigger. I run this setup because I want to stay aggressive, and it definitely helped me in a certain situation where all I had was, 2 to pass, and I passed with a heal trigger and a crit. So this pretty much won me my last match, but mainly because of time and the way damage was set up. I had 5 damage, he had 3, and maybe 5 seconds left into the match, I swung with War Sickle. I healed to 4 damage, then I critted, and he had 5 damage, I had 4, and that is how I won the match. I don't feel that it was a fair win, but it was a win nonetheless, and those are the breaks that happen. So, for those out there, please be aware of the time if you're on a time schedule. So, anyway, my grade 1s. Running 3 PGs, Paralyzed Madonna, and 1 Machining Ladybug, Quintet Wall. I would definitely run 4 PGs, mainly because the Quintet Wall, I didn't feel that helped me too much, but it's a machining and it's there for the counter blast, and if I need to Legion and don't have the hand. 4 Machining Caucasus. When it boosts and it hits the Vanguard, it boosts the machining at that, so it has to be a machining rear guard or Vanguard. Then you get the freely stunning unit. He is my main booster and puts in a lot of work for a 6K. 2 Machining Hornet, temporary 10K attacker or booster when you have a machining in the soul. I used to run Machining Mosquito in that place, but I found that if I needed a certain grade, as soon as I play Machining Mosquito, boom, there goes the grade that I needed, and then, I don't necessarily need the soul. But that temporary 10K boost for the turn really helps out for behind the Vanguard, or when you're striding, or, and it's a machining, so you can't go wrong. And for 10K attacker, all machining, very aggressive. In my opinion, especially with Caucasus behind it. So, great too. I did take out Papilio for Tarantula. I like Papilio's effect. It's a free stun, but that AK body really was hurting and slowing me down. Especially when my last match, which was against Link Joker. Granted, it was the Messiah build. Still pretty. He was a fantastic player. He was locking up, my rear guards. I, did get off machining destroyer's effect a few times, but it was to where, because Papilio is an 8K, I can't swing at a rear guard with it, so that's why I'm now running machining tarantula. It's an on hit when you ride or call to rear guard and you swing at the vanguard. You get the counter blast 1, and you also have the counter blast of machining. So be very careful with this effect, especially with the stride being machining specific as well. But yeah, I run 4 the Legion Mate Hornet Mach 2. When you call it to rear, it's a free stun, so it's like Papilio, just a 9K body. 412K attacker, just again to stay aggressive, and if I want to swing at rear guards, I can. Or if I'm backed up by Caucasus, then it's 18, so that's a good 10K shield drop. Or if they guard my vanguard, then he's always there to pick up the slack, no problem. My grade 3s. Oh no flashed. Okay. I run 4 Tarantula Mach 2 Legions. Its effect is when you are in Legion and you drive check it or Hornet Mach 2, you get to counter blast any card, and you get to stun the Vanguard for that turn, for the next turn. So I found out of the two tournaments I played in, I only got its effect off maybe twice, and that was it's okay. It just swings for numbers, really. That's pretty much why I run this. I mainly run War Sickle because this actually did win me a match. My opponent did 2 to pass, and because I don't run stands, I critted him out at 3. So I pulled 2 shelter beetles, and I was like, well, that's awesome. So to me, he's the boss monster because, again, if he doesn't hit Counterblast 2 when you're at limit break and stun the opponent's Vanguard if it doesn't hit. And when you ride it, you get the Counterblast the machining and summon the machining from soul at rest. I hardly ever really use that effect if I can't afford the Counterblast, because if I want to immediately stride that turn, that's just what it is. I just feel that every time I got the chance to ride him, I definitely would. But it, either one is fine, mainly because the tarantula is a 20 when it swings by itself, and if I don't hit, then I get to stun the Vanguard. So I'm going to force 3s to the Vanguard circle. So my strides, and the flash is back. Anyway, I run 3 Madu for when I'm in Legion. I very rarely ride this. There may have been a misplay or something on my half, and I forgot that I didn't have a machining counterblast, or I don't have enough to, enough machining rear guard. So this is an option if I'm in Legion. Another one is Jaggy Devil. I only run 1 at him, just to scare my opponent of stunning something. Push out PGs. That's his main goal. If he hits, I get to stun basically stun a column. So that's front row and back row, but you can stun, pretty much whatever you want to, as long as it's front row and back row. And the main wind machine right here is Machining Destroyer. You don't need any personal flips. All you need is a machining counterblast, 4 machining rear guards, a machining and a heart, and you get to stun 2 units, 1 being the Vanguard and 1 being the rear guard. You really want those conditions met to go ahead and freely stun your opponent's Vanguard, because I did beat an OTT player. Normally he would just pitch his 3s. Instead of that, he had to ride his 3s, and he was running like a soulless Coco. So it was like, oh yes, this is good here. This is really good. I've even had some folks skip turns because they don't have threes or didn't want to risk the riding a three or what have you. So this card again will just put immense pressure on, okay, I got to have my threes. And those who don't have draw triggers in their deck will wish they had that manna from heaven, because those draw triggers were like, okay, instead of this being that crit trigger, this was a draw trigger and I get a three. That could have been the next card, but you know. Anyway, that's the deck profile. I definitely look forward to the new support that's coming out in next month. A lot of people are going to rage quit over the new stride that when it hits in your Generation Break 2, you pretty much have to skip your next turn. You get to, if it hits, you get to, first off, your opponent can't stand or ride. You can't ride or stand. You can't stand or ride. I don't know how many times that's going to do it, but you know. But the thing is, it's a persona flip and it's counterblast too, so you're pretty much wanting to have damage, because we don't have a damage on flipper yet. We don't have anything of the sort to where it's clan specific outside of teardrop or whatever. Soul Blast 2, and it goes and unflips damage to how many Cray Elementals you have. So that's an option you could run in this deck, mainly because, again, Madu. You could run what's that boy's name? Blizzard. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions or comments in the comment section, please, and I will get back to you ASAP.